Are you planning on seeding this fall or spring? If so, this may be a crucial video for you if you're looking to establish your grass as fast as possible. What we're going to be talking about today is pre-germinating your seed. Now, what that means in layman's terms is that we're going to start the process of making your grass seed sprout before you actually plant them in your lawn. We're also going to test our pre-germinated seed next to seed that isn't pre-germinated, so we can see the difference between the two and see if it's worth our time to actually do this process. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've never done this before, and I'm very skeptical of how well this is going to actually work. A lot of people say they get 5-day germination by doing this with Kentucky bluegrass, but I've gotten some 5-day germination without pre-germinating my seed, so this is going to be a very interesting test. I'm also going to pre-germinate a plot of perennial ryegrass seed so we can see the difference in germination time there also. So the big question is, why should we pre-germinate our seed? The whole goal with this is to grow and establish our turf as quickly as possible. Kentucky bluegrass is notorious for being a very slow germinating grass, as it usually takes 14 to 21 days to fully germinate. This means you're more at risk for losing your seed to potential washouts from pop-up storms or heavy rain. It's also a very long time to try to keep that seed moist, which is what all seeds need to germinate. If you have bad sprinkler coverage, this could mean death to your seed before it even has time to germinate. It has also been noted that you get higher germination rates when pre-germinating your seed. So that means less seed being wasted or possibly even less bare spots. So let's actually get into the steps of pre-germinating our seed. The tools we're going to need for this is a 5-gallon bucket, a paint strainer, and something heavy to keep our seed underwater. What we're going to do is put our paint strainer over the top of the 5-gallon bucket and then put our measured seed into the strainer. You're going to want to measure out how much seed you need before starting this process. If you need to cover a very large area, you may need multiple 5-gallon buckets to do this. The seed we're going to be using for this test is Moonlight SLT, which is a Kentucky bluegrass. The perennial ryegrass we're going to be using is called Fireball, which is the darkest ryegrass you can buy on the market right now. Now, I'm only going to be doing a very small test plot in my backyard, so the amount of seed that I'm putting into the strainer is going to look ridiculously small. I just want to show you the process of how most people are going to do this, because you will most likely have a lot more seed with whatever project you have. Once you have your seed in the bucket, you're going to want to tie the end of the strainer like I did, or rubber band the strainer closed to make sure no seed can escape. Now, what we're going to need to do is fill the buckets up with water. Make sure you fill the buckets up enough to cover the entire bag of seed. The seed is going to want to float to the top, so that's where our heavy object comes in. We'll just place the object on top of the bag of seed to make sure everything stays submerged. Now comes the most crucial part of our pre-germination process. We're going to want to change out the water every 12 hours until the seed is ready to be put down into the soil. The reason we do this is because once the seed begins its germination process in the water, it starts to secrete toxins, which will ultimately stop the germination process. For Kentucky bluegrass, we need to change out the water for 6 straight days. For perennial ryegrass, we only need to do this for 2 days because perennial ryegrass germinates so much faster. And just a warning, do not dump the old water into your grass. I did this and had some slight die-off in my grass. It did not like the water at all, so definitely avoid this. Hey, really quickly guys, I just want to interrupt the video and give back to the lawn community a little bit. I'm showing off a new segment that's called Lawns of the Day. Our first lawn is from Antoine from Charlestown, Maryland. Our second lawn is from Rudy from Corcoran, California. And lastly, Ron from Ohio. These guys are absolutely killing it in their lawn. I just want to say great job, and if you think the same, hit that like button below. If you want to submit a photo for Lawn of the Day, email me at lawnlifewithjesse@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the video. If at any point you see these small white sprouts on the seed, we need to stop the process immediately and get this seed into the ground ASAP, because it has already started germinating and is looking to root into the soil. Once you hit that 6 days of changing the water every 12 hours, we then need to get the seed into a spreadable state, which is going to require some type of carrier. If you don't do this, your seed is going to be a giant ball of mess and it won't spread at all. Today, I'm going to use Milorganite because I have a few bags in my garage, but you can use anything that's similar to it. Some people use granular humic or other soil amendment products. Just make sure if you're going to use a fertilizer, I would recommend using a slow release one because you may be putting this down in large quantities and you definitely don't want to burn your lawn. You can use a gorilla cart or wheelbarrow to mix your seed and carrier together. I'm just going to use this 5-gallon bucket because I don't have much seed to mix. What you're going to want to do is mix the seed and carrier together until the seed dries out just enough that it's in a spreadable state. Once you feel it's mixed together well enough, you can use your spreader to spread it across your lawn. I'm going to hand spread mine in these test plots. So here's the test plot that I put in the backyard, and there are 4 different sections that we're testing here. In the top left, we have our pre-germinated perennial ryegrass. In the bottom left, we just put down regular perennial ryegrass seed. In the top right, we have pre-germinated Kentucky bluegrass, and in the bottom right, we just have regular Kentucky bluegrass seed that we plant at the same time. Now, it's been 4 days since we put down the perennial ryegrass, and in the pre-germinated plot, we are starting to see germination all over the place. Now, if we look a little closer at the just regular seed of perennial ryegrass, there is actually some germination going on, but it's just not as much as the pre-germinated side. This is just 4 days since seed down. We're gonna keep you updated day by day. The Kentucky bluegrass went in 2 days after the perennial rye since it had to pre-germinate longer. So it's been 6 days since we put down our perennial ryegrass, and it's safe to say that the pre-germinated side is coming up a lot faster than just the regular seed. There's definitely some germination on day 6 for the regular seed, but not as much as the pre-germinated side. It is crazy the difference. As for the Kentucky bluegrass, we still don't have any germination on either plot. It is day 4 since we put seed down. So it's been 7 days since we put down our Kentucky bluegrass, and we finally have some germination going on. And we have germination going on in the pre-germination plot, not the plot with the regular seed. I have never waited this long with Kentucky bluegrass to get at least some germination, so this is absolutely crazy to me. This Moonlight SLT must germinate very slowly, because 7 days is a long time to not see anything. Overall, I'm gonna pre-germinate my seed going forward. I was wrong at the beginning of this video. I really didn't think it would make that much of a difference. You may not think a couple of days is a big deal when it comes to germination, but if you get hit with a storm and you have seeded your entire lawn, that can make a huge difference in holding that seed in the ground and it all being washed away. This Fireball perennial ryegrass is looking absolutely amazing right now, and it's only came up after 9 days. I am blown away by the color of this stuff. If you guys want to see the steps I took to put this exact perennial ryegrass in my lawn, watch this video right here. Thanks for watching. Now get off my lawn.